The man responsible for the most powerful military in human history sat before members of Congress on Tuesday and could not tell them how much the war he helped launch is going to cost, when it will end, or how the country is going to pay for it. For more than 4 hours, spread across back-to-back hearings in both the House and Senate Defense Appropriations subcommittees, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Caine, faced a barrage of questions from both Republicans and Democrats that exposed the fundamental accountability vacuum at the heart of the Trump administration's Iran war strategy. By the end of the day, the total cost of the war had been updated to $29 billion. Iran had publicly rejected the United States peace proposal and demanded war reparations. The ceasefire that the president told Congress had ended hostilities was being described by Republican senators as no ceasefire at all. And Hegseth had still not said when the Pentagon would send Congress the supplemental funding request it needs to keep paying for a conflict that is burning through money at a rate the administration refuses to fully disclose. To understand the significance of what happened in those hearing rooms on Tuesday, you need to understand what Congress was actually asking for and what it received in return, because the gap between the two tells the entire story of how the Iran war is being managed. Pentagon Comptroller Jay Hurst told lawmakers on Tuesday that the cost of the Iran war has risen to approximately $29 billion, up from the $25 billion estimate he provided 2 weeks ago. Of the $29 billion, roughly $24 billion is related to replacing munitions and repairing equipment expended in the war, with the remaining $5 billion covering operational costs to keep forces deployed. Hurst cautioned that even that figure was not exhaustive, and that it does not include the cost to repair or rebuild United States military sites damaged in the region after coming under retaliatory attack from Iran. $4 billion in additional costs in 2 weeks. That is the pace at which this war is spending money that Congress has not appropriated and that no supplemental funding request has yet been submitted to pay for. The war has been running for 74 days. At the current pace of cost accumulation, the total financial exposure of the United States government will continue rising with each passing week that a deal is not reached. Representative Joe Morrell, a Democrat from New York, described the experience of trying to get basic financial information from the Pentagon about the Iran war since it began in late February as long and excruciating. He told Hegseth and Hurst that General Washington reported faster to the Continental Congress than this administration has reported to the United States Congress. That comparison is not merely rhetorical. Congress has an explicit constitutional responsibility to oversee how federal money is spent. It cannot appropriate additional funds for a war it does not have basic financial data about. Multiple senators and representatives testified on Tuesday that they had sent letters, made phone calls, and submitted formal requests for war cost information that had gone unanswered or been answered with partial and shifting figures. The $29 billion number disclosed on Tuesday is the third different number the Pentagon has given Congress in as many weeks. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska said it did not appear that hostilities had ended in Iran, directly contradicting what President Trump had told Congress earlier this month. She pointed to the 50,000 troops and more than 20 warships deployed to the region, as well as an ongoing naval blockade of Iranian ports and recent exchanges of fire between American and Iranian forces, as evidence that the ceasefire the president declared was not functioning as a ceasefire in any meaningful sense. Republican Senator Susan Collins, who joined Democrats last month in a failed vote to halt the conflict and is facing a tough re-election fight in Maine, told General Caine that it seemed to her there had been a different plan almost daily for dealing with the Iran problem, and that this instability was precisely why she kept asking basic strategic questions. Collins is not a fringe critic of the administration. She is the senior Republican senator from Maine, a state Trump won in 2024, and she is telling the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff that the strategy appears to change on a daily basis. Representative Ken Calvert of California, the Republican chairman of the House Defense Appropriations Subcommittee, pushed Hegseth directly to submit a supplemental funding request to Congress as quickly as possible, saying it would be helpful to get the supplemental sooner rather than later so Congress could get to work on it. Calvert's counterpart in the Senate, Republican Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky said the supplemental request would be an opportunity to refill critical munitions stocks that the United States had underinvested in long before the Iran conflict. The munitions question is the one that generated the sharpest bipartisan alarm on Tuesday because it goes beyond the immediate politics of the Iran war into the long-term national security implications of a conflict that has consumed American military stockpiles at a rate the administration has been reluctant to publicly acknowledge. The United States has fired an enormous number of precision-guided munitions, interceptor missiles, cruise missiles, and other expensive weapon systems in the course of 74 days of operations. Each of those weapons requires manufacturing capacity, supply chains, and lead times measured in months or years to replace. The $24 billion equipment and munitions replacement cost that Hegseth disclosed on Tuesday is not just a budget number. It is an acknowledgement that the American military's readiness for other potential conflicts in the Pacific, in Europe, anywhere else a crisis might emerge, has been measurably reduced by the Iran operation. Representative Betty McCollum, the ranking Democrat on the House Defense Subcommittee, pressed Hegseth directly on whether the military has a plan to draw down troops in the Middle East if Congress passes legislation to end the Iran war. She was pressing on the same question that multiple Democratic senators have been asking for weeks, which is what the exit strategy actually looks like. Hegseth did not provide a specific answer. His response to Democratic Senator Patty Murray of Washington, who told him that the administration was spending families' hard-earned tax dollars on a war many strongly oppose while forcing people to pay more at the pump, and that Congress was not even being provided a real breakdown of costs, was to respond rhetorically by asking what the cost of Iran obtaining a nuclear weapon would be. That rhetorical pivot, the suggestion that any accounting of the war's actual costs should be weighed against the hypothetical cost of a nuclear-armed Iran, has become Hegseth's standard deflection when pressed on financial transparency. It is an answer that acknowledges none of the specific questions being asked while gesturing toward the theoretical justification for the war. It does not tell Congress how much money has been spent. It does not explain when a supplemental request will be submitted. It does not address the munitions drawdown. It does not say when troops will come home. It simply changes the subject. The diplomatic backdrop on Tuesday made the hearings even more consequential. Iran publicly rejected the United States' peace proposal and called on the United States to end its naval blockade of Iranian ports before any further negotiations could take place. Iran's counteroffer, which Trump declared totally unacceptable on Truth Social, included a demand for war reparations from the United States, an end to all sanctions on Iranian oil, and rights regarding Iran's nuclear program. The day before the hearings, Trump said he was not in a rush to end the war. Not in a rush. $29 billion spent, 13 Americans killed, gas at $4.55 per gallon, 66% of Americans disapproving of the war, Iran rejecting the peace proposal and demanding reparations, and the president, on his way to Beijing for a summit with China, said he was not in a rush to end it. General Washington reported to the Continental Congress faster than this, and the Continental Congress, to its credit, was paying attention when he did. The significance of Tuesday's hearings extends well beyond the specific numbers and specific exchanges. It represents the clearest demonstration yet of what happens when a Congress that has effectively ceded its constitutional war-making authority decides it wants that authority back, or at least wants to be consulted about how much money is being spent on its behalf. For the first 2 months of the Iran war, Republican majorities in both chambers largely shielded the administration from serious oversight. The War Powers Challenge that senators like Collins and the bipartisan group that tried to halt the conflict last month represented the first serious crack in that shielding. Tuesday's hearings were the second and more sustained crack. When Republican committee chairs are publicly demanding supplemental funding requests and Republican senators are telling the chairman of the Joint Chiefs that there appears to be a new plan every day, the political coalition that has protected the administration's war management from accountability is visibly fraying. The American public is owed a clear and honest accounting of what Tuesday's hearings revealed, so here it is stated as plainly as the evidence supports. The Iran war has cost $29 billion in counting, not including damage to American military bases. The cost has increased by $4 billion in the past 2 weeks alone. Congress has been asking for a detailed breakdown since the war began and has received shifting, incomplete numbers that increase with each disclosure. The supplemental funding request that Congress needs to appropriate more money for the war has not been submitted. The munitions and equipment costs alone account for $24 billion, representing a significant reduction in American military readiness for other potential conflicts. Republican senators are publicly saying the ceasefire the president told them had ended hostilities is not functioning as a ceasefire. Iran has rejected the peace proposal and demanded reparations, and the president, on his way to Beijing, said he is not in a rush to end it. General Washington reported to the Continental Congress faster than this, and the Continental Congress, to its credit, was paying attention when he did.